Welcome back, everyone. iOS 16 has came out, so let's go and take a look at the iPhone XR and 12 mini and see how they both compare not only in 2022 but with iOS 16 as well. So, if you want to pick up either one of these iPhones, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, like I've said before, you can definitely tell the iPhone XR is a bigger phone than the iPhone 12 mini. The XR on the front has a 6.1-inch IPS panel, and like I said before, I think it's a pretty good-looking panel overall. Is it perfect? No, but I think, for it being a 2018 kind of budget tier phone, I would say definitely not budget, but, budget tier kind of offering from Apple, I think it's a pretty decent panel, and you can pick up this phone probably like 200 something dollars. So this whole entire phone itself is actually still a pretty good deal in my opinion. Now with the 12 mini, on the other hand, this is a $599 phone that Apple is currently selling, and this is also a 5.4-inch panel, so it's smaller. It's a Super Retina XDR OLED screen, and even though it's a smaller screen, it is a much better looking panel, I would say, than the XRs. So if you're coming from both these phones, the 12 mini is going to be giving you an overall better screen, I would say, than the iPhone XR. Is it a big deal? Maybe not if you're not really into panels that much, but it is something that, at the end of the day, it's a better looking display. Now, in terms of thinness and thickness, I think the iPhone XR is a thicker phone, although the 12 mini with its flat side does kind of give the impression that it feels a little bit thicker because the iPhone XR is curved in, but I think the XR is a thicker phone and a heavier phone as well. On the back, we have glass backs on both as well. Dual camera setup on the 12 mini. My 12 mini has a super cracked back. The iPhone XR, on the other hand, has a single camera setup. Both have wireless charging, MagSafe capability on the iPhone 12 mini, lightning ports on the bottom, and that kind of covers it up on the outside. There really isn't a whole lot else about these, at least on the outside. Now, in terms of longevity and software versions, the iPhone 12 mini has a higher likelihood of outlasting the iPhone XR. Now, with the XR, I think this iPhone is still going to be lasting for hopefully a long time with the recent Apple, news and the way they've been doing things. I don't really know what they're going to be doing in the future. It's really, really hard to tell. But I think with something like the XR, if the iPhone 10 ends up getting drop support, this thing's at least guaranteed iOS 17, maybe even iOS 18. We're just going to have to kind of wait and see what Apple does in the future, but this phone still has at least another few years inside of it. I doubt Apple's going to stop this thing on iOS 16. If they do, I'm going to be super upset. So I think this thing is going to be getting iOS 17. On the iPhone 12 mini, on the other hand, this iPhone kind of is just getting started. This phone just came out barely 2 years ago, not even 2 years ago actually. So this thing has a higher likelihood of outlasting a lot of other phones, but it's definitely outlasting the iPhone XR. No matter which way you look at it, if you want a phone that's going to be getting all the cool iOS versions and features of, yesterday, next year, and all those other things, the iPhone 12 mini is definitely the better way to go, but the XR is still going to be supported for quite a bit of time as well. So that kind of covers it up there. Let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 12 mini has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone XR has that Apple A12 Bionic chip inside of it with 3 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster one between both of these. There we go. Now let's go and clear out the apps in the background, which I think they're already cleared out. So let's get into it. 12 mini here, 13 here, both on iOS 16, and this one is the XR, not the 13. Phone call is 3, 2, 1. 12 mini definitely faster. Music 3, 2, 1. And you can see the 12 mini was quite a bit faster there. That was actually kind of a big difference, to be honest. Let's go into settings, 3, 2, 1. About the same, but I think the XR was slightly slower. App Store, 3, 2, 1. Okay, definitely here we're seeing some pretty big differences. The XR was quite a bit faster than the iPhone. The XR was quite a bit slower. Sorry, I had to catch myself there. News 3, 2, 1. And 2 different panels, so we'll just kind of have to let this one slide. Podcast 3, 2, 1. You can see right here, again, the 12 mini is the faster one there for sure. Apple TV 3, 2, 1. I think, again, the 12 mini was quite a bit faster here as well. So we're seeing some very interesting things here. Let's go and get into health, 3, 2, 1. Kind of messed up there, so we're just going to have to kind of let this one load in the background. Let's go and get into mail, 3, 2, 1. Again, even on basic applications like this, the 12 mini is actually doing a better job. Let's go and get into photos, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 12 mini again was the faster one. Hopping out of here, camera, 3, 2, 1. Okay, taking a photo, I think it's going to be about the same thing. Let's go and get into this photo. Now, one thing I've been doing, I guess the XR didn't want to do it. There we go. One thing I've been doing is just kind of zooming in and zooming out and kind of clicking in and clicking out on both of them. And it kind of looks like that the XR kind of looks to be faster. Something like that, I really don't know. It was kind of a good, comparison 2 days ago, but I guess it doesn't really hold up too well anymore. Let's go and do shortcuts, 3, 2, 1. Again, 12 mini is the faster one. I think we're seeing a recurring trend here. Home, 3, 2, 1. Again, 12 mini is really, really fast. I'm actually pretty surprised. Contacts 321. That one was kind of a close between both. Files 321. The 12 mini I think is a faster one too, but it was on a little bit of a different panel. Stocks 321. Very close, but I think the 12 mini was the faster one there. Translate 321. Okay, there we go. I think the 12 mini was faster there as well. Books 321. 12 mini again is a faster one. iTunes Store 321. Yeah, so I think we're kind of seeing a reoccurring trend. I think definitely when it came down to it, something like the iPhone 12 mini was definitely the faster phone here. I think in almost every single way you look at it, the 12 mini is the faster phone. I think the 10R did pretty decent, but I think iOS 16 has started to kind of, I don't know what it is, but it's starting to kind of, utilize the power within these phones. At least there's bigger speed differences. I don't know if that's slowing these older ones down or speeding up the newer ones. I hope it's speeding up the newer ones. You can also see right there the 12 mini was able to keep this app in the background where it closed on the iPhone 10R. So I think the 10R is definitely still a really good performing phone, but the 12 mini is definitely the better one here for sure. So that covers it up there. Now let's quickly hit on the cameras. Now both these things do have, like I said, a decent camera lens. They both can do 4K at 60 on the back, but the 12 mini does have the ability of having that ultra wide sensor, which is really, really nice. It's a nice touch. The 10R on the other hand with its single lens, I think it's still pretty good, but the 12 mini does have a pretty big advantage there. Now the 10R with its 4K at 60 on the back, like I mentioned before, is still a very, very good lens for the most part. I mean, if you're just taking Snapchats and Instagram and TikTok videos and stuff like that, I think this is going to be very, very good. I filmed a lot of videos with this type of camera, at least, internal use. I never really uploaded them anywhere. And this is a very solid lens. I remember when I was using like an iPhone 6 Plus camera and that thing was really good. So this thing still has portrait mode and video mode. This thing has 4K at 60 on the back, 1080p on the front, but I still think this is a very solid lens as well. Honestly, you can't really go wrong with a phone like this. I think this camera is still very solid, and I think it's a really nice touch for sure. Now, with something like the 12 mini, on the other hand, I like this camera too, and it's a better camera than the iPhone 10R. But the biggest thing is with that ultra wide sensor. I love that type of lens. With this type of camera too, you're getting pretty much the same type of capability. You're getting the ability of zooming in and out, which is nice, which is the same exact zooming in and out, I think, on both. But the zooming out is the big thing, where you have that ultra wide sensor. This is an extremely nice touch, and that is something that I always liked from Apple. Having these types of solid lenses with these phones are really cool, and it's easily one of my favorite things about these phones as well. So when it comes down to it, I'm a big fan of this camera, and it is a better camera than the iPhone 10R. And honestly, to be completely honest, I think the 12 mini is the better phone between these two. I think when I look at both these devices, the 12 mini is probably the one I would recommend buying. I think this is a phone that's very solid, has a lot of power, and it is just overall the better phone. I think the only area where the 10R used to be better was the battery life, but recently, I think with iOS 15 and even with 16, it's not really looking to be as crazy good as it used to be. With the 12 mini, I think it's getting better, and I think if Apple just kind of went ahead and fixed that one issue of battery health with the 12 series, I think that would make this phone probably an excellent buy. But that's really the only thing that's kind of limiting it, in my opinion. I think iOS 16 has done a pretty good job. With the 10R, I think this is still a really good deal. For 200 and something dollars, I think like 250, 260, 270, whatever it is, this is a very solid deal. You're getting almost all the features within iOS 16, but it's still a very awesome phone for the price tag. So for this one, $599 is pretty expensive. This one in the used market is definitely much cheaper, and it's a really good deal here. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.